Today on the podcast, we're covering a really interesting story, which is a company called Gleen AI that has arrived with a $4.9 million round of funding, and their goal is to stop AI hallucinations using enterprises' own data. So today on the podcast, we're going to be diving into this company, what they're going to be spending this $4.9 million, almost $5 million on, if they actually are going to stop AI hallucinations, and why we think this is important in the industry. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. The first thing I want to cover here is that as companies globally really accelerate the adoption of generative AI in various aspects of their operations, that could be ranging from internal processes to customer interactions. Of course, from the very beginning and when, ChatGPT first launched, we've always had these concerns about AI generated inaccuracies. So, of course, these are what we call AI hallucinations, and these continue to be a point of focus. So, emerging to address this issue is Gleen AI. So this is a startup, right? Like I mentioned, it's raised $4.9 million in a funding round that was led by Slow Ventures, Sixth Man Ventures, South Park Commons, and Spartan Group. And the round also featured participation from angel investors like Sam Lessin, who's the former VP of product management at Facebook or Meta. And Gleen AI's primary offering is an anti-hallucination data layer software that's targeted initially at optimizing AI models for customer support roles. So Ashu Dubey, who's the CEO and co-founder of Gleen AI, revealed that and said essentially, quote, "What we do is when we send data from a user to a large language model, we give facts that can create a good answer. If we don't believe we have good enough facts, we don't send the data to the LLM." So let's talk about some of the challenges with AI hallucinations. So generative AI tools, right? We got a bunch of prominent LLMs. We got ChatGPT, Claude 2, Llama 2, Bard. All of these are essentially designed to generate responses based on human prompts. However, the reliability of the outputs, as we all know, can sometimes be quite questionable. So, for instance, ChatGPT once incorrectly answered a question about Earth eclipsing Mars, and it was, delivering a confident but very fundamentally wrong response. So these kind of inaccuracies, they might be funny when you're using it yourself or casual interactions, but when we kind of look at how these affect enterprises, they pose a fairly significant risk, especially in sectors that deal with critical information. So we have healthcare, we have the financial industry. There's a lot of different industries where you just don't want to get this kind of stuff wrong. And you really need things to be 100% accurate, 100% perfect. You don't really have a margin of error on some of these industries, especially when it comes to the military, healthcare, financial services, all sorts of areas, right? So that's really where Gleen AI's solution comes in and what their whole concept around accuracy is. So Gleen has essentially developed a proprietary AI and machine learning layer that functions independently of any LLM. Enterprises can essentially opt to use this, and the layer scans an organization's internal data, converting it into a vector database to enhance the functionality of the AI model's responses. So specifically, the layer performs several key functions. Number one, aggregates both structured and unstructured knowledge from various internal sources. Number 2, it extracts key facts while reducing noise and redundancy. So Dubey actually noted that this process, quote, allows us to glean the signal from the noise, which is, that's, I guess, what inspired the company's name there, Gleen. The third thing it does is it then goes and constructs a knowledge graph to identify relationships between different data entities and to kind of, retrieve the most pertinent information when someone is querying it. Then finally, what it does is it actually checks the LLM's output against the database of curated facts, opting for a cautious, I don't know approach when evidence is lacking. And it does this to really kind of minimize the risk of hallucination. So in essence, Gleen's AI layer serves as a quality control manager for chatbots, only enabling the LLM to respond when there is, really high confidence in the comprehensiveness of the facts. And so the technology also allows users to quickly deploy custom support chatbots that can be customized to suit different use cases. So let's talk about the flexibility and, essentially the early adoption of Gleen, what we're seeing right now in the industry. So Gleen AI's solution is model agnostic. So that means that it's supporting any LLM with API integrations. So while it supports popular models like, OpenAI's GPT 3.5 Turbo, it also accommodates security conscious customers by offering some private server options, which I think, when you're focusing on the enterprise, when this is the big customer you serve, you absolutely have to offer these private server options, essentially allowing companies to know that none of their personal data is ever leaving a private server. Nothing is ever going to be used to train another AI model, and that they own everything that is, everything being used, all the data being given them. Specifically, it's the data, right? Specifically, these enterprises do not want their personal data or information about their personal data to get leaked and cause a big headache, or worse, right? Proprietary data get in the hands of a competitor or someone else, right? So that's the big worry. And so you really have to focus on these private servers. The early signs, I would say, indicate that the market is fairly receptive. Gleen AI has already seen uptake in sectors that demand high levels of accuracy, such as quantum computing and cryptocurrency. So Esteban Villar, who, he works on community support at Matter Labs, praised the ease of Gleen AI's implementation, stating, quote, implementing Gleen AI was close to no effort on our side. We just provided a few links and the rest was smooth. So as the enterprise adoption of LLMs continues to gain momentum, Gleen AI aims to be on the forefront of ensuring these technologies are as accurate as they are versatile. They said, quote, our vision is every company will have an AI assistant powered by their own proprietary knowledge graph. This vector database will become as important of an asset as their website, enabling personalized automation across the entire customer lifecycle. So I personally obviously am very, very bullish on AI and what's going on in the industry right now. I think it's going to be interesting to see if indeed every company does have an AI chatbot that is, their whole knowledge base. In my opinion, I think this would be a really smart move. This would be going in the right direction. And then essentially, if you want information from a company, you go and query their knowledge base. And I think this will be really interesting to see how this scales in the future, but I think this is the direction we're going, and I think Gleen is setting itself up to be a really solid player, making sure that all of the information in these AI chatbots is 100% accurate.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.